Yay.
Now all I gotta do is find my mouse.
Your Ms. House?
My mouse is probably in the car. Oh, well, we'll try that next time, but it does work with the camera. Yeah, that looks like it might just do the trick.
Right. The thing is you probably can't go power through that. You probably can't plug power stuff into
Oh,
it.
okay.
Like your adapter, your AC adapter, probably can't plug into it. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I've been hearing you for about 10 minutes or so.
Oh, that's pretty amazing because I haven't been here for 10 minutes or so.
Well, maybe it's a slight exaggeration, but you guys been chattering away and I hear you, but I don't see you.
You don't see me.
I see you now.
Huh. Too bad you're not here, Art.
Oh yeah?
Freebies. Freebies. Go home to good arts.
Okay. I am definitely not there.
No, and I really don't want to take them home right now. They need to go home. They need to go somewhere. Okay. I did something very weird. Yeah. Okay, where's the participation? There we go. Now I can see everything.
Can you see me?
Yeah. You think we can't see you?
No, I just wondered because there was no video for a long time. A lot of conversation, but no video.
Well,
Leroy got me a USB extender with a micro USB adapter for my Chromebook, so I had to unplug the camera and plug it back in.
multimeters, everybody needs multimeters. It is.
Wow.
Jim's inspired me to clean out my crap.
I don't know. I tried to give away stuff last week and went on with it all, so. Dang. That's a good idea. I think Patty doesn't know who you are. Ooh. Oh, that's your
It's an ebook reader.
ebook reader?
Yeah. It's an old one, but it works. It does
Yeah.
what it's supposed to do.
And if it does text to audio, that's what I doesn't do that. Yeah. Okay.
Not so much,
Yeah.
but the price is right.
Yeah.
So I thought you closed down your storage shed a long time ago, Leroy.
Well, of course I did, but you know,
That didn't stop anything. No.
do you know who I am?
He's lost his mind since he's gone back home. Dang.
Some of this, a lot of this did come from the storage, and I figured I would use it. I'd use it. It's set around the house for who knows how long, and I barely look at it. I mean, that's the kind of stuff this is. And honestly, who uses DVDs anymore? This is a 10-pack of brand new DVDs, DVD blanks. And this is a whole of DVD CDRs. Who uses those anymore? I don't.
I use one every 2 years.
Okay, here you go. A completely unopened 50-pack of DVD-Rs.
Ooh, he's got leads.
I bought these, I don't know, a couple of years ago
Frequency counter. Ooh.
because I was getting low. And I have never used one out of this pack.
Well, that's just that the lights.
See, it's an ammeter probe.
God dang it. It's a voltage tester, okay, and this is just a stupid voltage tester, and many times, that's all I want.
It's just a stupid voltage tester that is set in a box for 10 years. Guaranteed that it's set in a box for a very long time. That's the guarantee that you get, Jim.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
it's probably just neon lamp, but
I know, Art. Back in the day, I was going through DVDs and CDRs constantly, but I haven't. I mean, my two main machines now don't even have a DVD player. I mean, how do you deal with having a bunch of DVDs when you don't even have a DVD player?
Well, I've still got those. All of my boxes are old enough, all of my towers are old enough that there's a DVD burner in them. Someplace around here, I've got a half of, I think 100 stack of CDs.
cable tester, ooh.
This is just scratching the surface. I know I've got a stack of DVD or CDs.
Is
somewhere.
that fluke?
It's an old fluke, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the flukes were awesome.
Yeah.
How's the
Went
thing
through
to
a
do?
couple of them.
If it works, it's a fluke.
Flukes, man, I don't know, flukes.
All right, well, take one, pass it around. We gotta pass them around at least one trip. Oh, man, cable tester,
Cable tester,
RJ45 to RJ11,
phone.
oh, okay.
Yeah. RJ11 and 12 are phones.
Ugh.
That is an Arduino Uno, mostly.
And you haven't been around for the kit builders. Kit builds, yeah, Ray's, when Ray came in, and he built kits. For everybody,
Oh, yeah.
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 These aren't them. These are something else. Our Uno based.
Wow.
Uno based.
Parallax. Yeah, that's.
Oh.
I think I had one like that.
Yeah, you've got a couple of those.
I built one, is that the one I did? Put kits
I don't
in?
think so.
Oh, okay. Those are not bad, those have
For fun.
the servos, continuous servos, and they're cute. You can actually set the speed of the servos.
Here. I've got about $100 in my hands right here. Old Raspberry Pis.
What version?
Well, they're the original.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nothing wrong with them. They just have sat around forever because they have. And then we've got these little weird hats. That's an Arduino Uno that mounts
Yeah.
onto the
Oh, on the pie?
Pi.
Oh, my God.
So, what we can do is, and just the ones that you don't give away, put them on a list and I'll send them out on Meetup. Say, giveaway, and here's the list of stuff and pictures even.
The robots I'll probably donate to the ham radio guys for their fundraiser. Cause I'm
Oh,
sure,
yeah.
you know, when they go to a ham fest, somebody's gonna buy those.
Okay, we got that, and we got the flute, and we got the reader,
Ebook reader.
ebook reader.
I don't think.
You know,
Reading, what's that?
And a power supply for the Cisco router,
White does all that.
Linksys E1000.
She needs an ebook reader.
Yeah, we got 2 or 3 of them.
You need
You got
more.
one for upstairs,
Okay,
one for
inspect it,
downstairs.
you gotta inspect it and pass it to the next guy that shows up, and Vicente shows up. And the Cisco routers, I got 2 extra routers already.
Wow, this has a keyboard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
yeah, that one might, I don't think that one does the text to speech. It might. I know it only supports certain file types. PDF, EPUB, and I think text. I think that's it. I think that's all it supports. But
Plus the Amazon type.
no, it's not an Amazon. It's not a Kindle.
Oh, really?
Yep. So that frequency counter has seen better days. It's
yeah.
got wet or something.
Oh.
Guaranteed that it's been sitting around for 10+ years.
go through them and put them to your right, and then the next guy can pass through to the next one.
If we ever get bored though, we could play Millbones.
Freak meter, my voltmeter has a freak meter in it now. Yeah. Router,
I just got a random collection of stuff at the house. Just this is the older, well, I don't know if it's probably not the original, but it's got the old 1970s green tray in it.
what is it?
It's a card game. You've never played Millerborns?
No.
It's a French racing card game. You
Did you say a racy French card game?
Yeah.
something like that, yeah. It's have you ever played it, Art?
I've never even heard of it.
Really? Huh. That must be this card game is as old as I am. This box is at least as old as I am. It's you play like you represent a car and you're trying to get to like 500 points or 500 miles. And you have like road hazards and green lights and never puncture tires, because your opponents can play a stoplight on you, or they can limit your speed to 50 miles an hour, or you could run out of gas.
This sounds like Monopoly with cars.
Kinda. They could cause you to have an accident, and then you have to have the right card to repair your car. So you could sit. I forget, you need a certain card to actually start the race, but you can sit for a very, very long time as your opponents go past you. I think you're trying to get to 500 miles or something like that. It's been a while since I played, but it was a fun game. But it's one of those games that I actually have like 3 copies of this game. So it's one of those games that I don't need it. I have it.
Grand Poobah's camera just froze.
Yeah, my battery went dead.
Your battery went dead. Okay.
Apparently it didn't shut the computer off when I shut it down. It wasn't charged up.
So somebody please take all this stuff home. I might even let you use the tote.
Well, I can hear everybody, but I can't see any motion.
Can you see?
Okay, now you're moving.
That's my camera, so. But I've got these weird, I don't really know where these came from or what they are. Raspberry Pi based gateway for energy harvesting wireless networks.
Energy harvesting wireless network. Okay.
315 megahertz. And I don't have a clue what they do.
315 megahertz sounds like an ISM frequency.
Yeah, these are you need a pair of them, of course, and guess what? I have a pair of them.
Yeah.
But the these were acquired. I acquired these when MCM went out of business. And I'm pretty sure that the guy at MCM just threw them in my bag because I don't remember buying these things. I'm pretty sure that,
They're pretty sneaky lot. Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he just was like, here, take some of this, but that's where these GERT boards came from. And this pie face came from was MCM. That's
Well, was that a show or what?
MCM Electronics. Remember several years ago, like several years even before COVID, they were in Springboro and they went out of business.
Oh,
Newark.
you're talking about up there off
Newark.
75 someplace?
Yep. Newark Electronics bought them up and they said they weren't going to close them and they lied basically. No,
Was
of
that
course.
a surplus place?
You what?
Was that a surplus place?
It wasn't so much surplus as it was it was just electronics. I mean, any part that you possibly could want, if they didn't have it in stock, they could get it within a couple of hours.
Huh.
So that's like a shield basically that goes on a pod.
Yeah, and it's
Why do we have two blank Grand Poobahs now?
I don't know.
Okay.
Where I blew up, my battery went dead.
Yeah, one of them was, but I don't know why it's still showing there because he disappeared for a little while.
And sometimes that just happens spontaneously. I'll disappear and appear later on.
Yeah. That's, these were all designed for the original Raspberry Pi. Of course, I think they'll work with a newer Pi,
Yeah,
but I'm trying really hard.
here, I'll take a pie.
Which
Might be able to hook that up to them.
Pi would you like?
I don't know.
A pie in the face.
I even have breadboard connector dealy bobs. And breadboard connector dealy bobs. That are completely useless to me because they're for the Raspberry for the original Raspberry Pi. That is the multimeter you need, Jim.
And you know, I've got one like that. Actually, it's got the switch on it. Mine's got the switch on it. Yeah.
That you know where that came from, right?
Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah, that's not a bad one.
No, they're
I-
not bad.
I got one sitting by my soldering iron. I use it every day, every week.
The greatest thing about these is the battery, the 9-volt battery probably costs more than what the stupid multimeter costs. I've got 6 or 7 of these things.
Oh, there's a yellow one there.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't
probably
think the
came from
yellow
Harbor
one
Freight.
is Harbor Freight though.
I got my yellow ones from Harbor Freight.
Did you?
Yellow, yeah, I got 2 or 3 from Harbor Freight, and
It's the same.
that's an older one. But yeah, it's got the switch on it, and that's fine.
Oh, yeah, they're
It-
just
They're
close.
they're the same.
The newer ones didn't have the separate switch for the power.
Oh, it's on the
Oh,
off then,
it's
yeah.
okay. I
And
got
both
you.
of them had transistor testers on them.
Yeah.
Can't
It-
complain about that.
I've got like 5 or 6 of these stupid things,
Oh, yeah,
and because they keep giving them to me.
yeah, they're free,
Yeah.
so why not?
Yeah. Walk into Harbor Freight here. Okay, thanks.
So I notice our sound is back today.
Well, I'm here.
So is it you or is it the globular microphone?
It's probably the mic. The mic has to be a lot better than just using the computer mic or whatever.
I hope so.
You could actually claim more than one thing.
No, well,
That's-
it looks like it's free stuff. You better speak now, while you know, getting's good.
Power supply tester for a computer,
Mm,
old power supply tester for a computer.
I will save that one. See if I something can pass that up.
That power supply tester actually was one of the more expensive ones.
Yeah,
You know, actually, if Steve shows up, he might take that.
exactly.
He still messes with that stuff.
Steve's trying to get rid of junk too.
It's this whole thing, radio.
That is a frequency counter that I guarantee has been sitting in bad spots for 10 plus years. Guaranteed. But it comes with the box.
Yeah.
The box makes it all the better. And
Oh, and the antenna too. Yeah, cool.
Oh, it goes on to the BNC.
yeah. Yeah, but if you look real close, it's been abused. There's corrosion in there and stuff. It has not had a good life.
Been following you around, man.
Well, I know I bought this from an auction and it had to have been 15 years ago. And I opened it up and I looked and I was like, oh crap, it's all corroded. And I threw it in a box and I threw it in a box. And it's been in the box ever since. So
If you have a frequency counter, there you go. It's a good one to try. If it's not any good,
Frequencies to count.
if it's not any good, you're not out anything.
yeah, you don't have to lose anything. That'd be your charge to testing it. Yeah,
It goes up to
Doing the
1.3 gigahertz.
that's pretty good.
It's not bad. Considering its age. It's actually pretty good considering how old it is. But it doesn't have a date anymore.
Might sell more if you use other counties.
The thing that's amazing to me is the fact you've got the original boxes for all this stuff.
Manual art, he's got the manual.
Yeah.
And the manual's here, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's not in great shape, but it's here. The manual says this counter was made in 93. So that was before 2.4 gigahertz was even a thing.
Yeah.
So to go to 1.3 gigahertz ain't bad. But I figured, ham radio operator, that was why I grabbed it. at that auction was because I'm a ham, so I figured a ham radio operator would probably like a,
You gonna test it?
I don't know how to test. I'd have to read the instructions.
Okay, fortunately,
All right.
the instructions are included.
I'll test.
it's going to, he'll test it, it'll end up coming back here next week. Yeah, it works. Anybody want this thing?
Uh,
LCD RF frequency. Ideal for measuring ham or radio CB radio frequencies.
So you get a handheld radio or a scan, well, not a scan, something that'll transmit, and you key it up and it'll tell you exactly what frequency it is, plus or minus whatever their
Oh, sure. If you
their
want-
thing is,
if
and
you
then-
Want to know what frequency you're broadcasting. on.
Yeah, so if you think you're off frequency or whatever, you could use a frequency counter to figure out if you're right. Which was a big deal back in the day.
For digital.
Yeah. Well, things have, you know, stability of radios and everything has crystallized. I mean, you're not using crystal tuners and stuff anymore, so.
Temperature controlled crystal tuners.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's, you know, a frequency counter was very, very handy.
It's a nice.
Yeah,
Case.
Radio Shack made some good stuff. Well, or at least put their name on some good stuff.
And before that, there was Lafayette.
Yeah, I'm sure that Radio Shack did not make that they just stuck their name on it, but somebody good made it. Is Radio Shack really, I mean, back in the day, they did not put their name on a bunch of junk. They actually did good stuff or had good stuff.
That was before they segued into a telephone sales outfit.
Yep.
Last few years they were in business, you'd go in there and ask them about an electronic component and the salespeople had no clue.
Now
Okay.
now they're doing digital cryptocurrency. If you go to the
Radio Shack is doing crypto.
you go to the website, they're doing cryptocurrency. Yeah, I wish that was a joke, but
Unfortunately, it's not.
unfortunately, it's not.
And I got a PDR right here, if you need a PDR. Public video recorder, public broadcast recorder.
Hook that up to the frequency counter. Let's see what happens.
I record every day. I'm recording several programs. Rick Steve's Europe. Record that a couple times a year. Yeah. Well, maybe I can see it on Rick Steve's pretty good. Like Rick Steve's.
Banana pie. It's another add-on board. It's like this, it's like the GURT board. It's an Arduino Uno that you can.
Add it all, so.
I just collect stuff. But you haven't seen, seriously, you haven't, this doesn't even scratch the surface. There's so much stuff.
Okay, here's the tester. The RJ11, RJ14.
One of those.
Okay.
I played around with that does actually, or maybe it was
Yeah,
that
that's
one of those worked.
Yeah.
One of those I tried because I was like, oh,
If my son goaded me into getting one of those.
I got both of those because when we had the shop, we needed to test cables. and
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, yeah,
I'm surprised it doesn't cover an RJ45.
It does.
it does.
It's RJ45, RJ12, RJ11 and 12, RJ45. That one, the other one that he's got, does coax. And one of them, I think that one's got the bell, the pinger thing, so you could do cable traces out on it.
Oh,
This one doesn't have the cable tracer thingy bob. This one's just a simple, is it connected right? Kind of test. That one's more sophisticated.
oh, yeah.
It's more like a Fox and,
It's got, I'm pretty sure it's got the pinger. You plug one end into the cable and you can take a little wand and
you
go
go
through
sniff for it.
for the tone that's on the line.
Yeah, it's a toner.
And if it doesn't have the toner on it, it's an option for it, but that is an Android device.
It looks like an HDMI.
Plug that into your HDMI port and give it power, and
Now this will plug into my phone now, my Android.
it didn't work with mine.
Yeah, I wonder what you would get.
Oh, your phone.
Why not?
Has a USB connectors, fans out to USB connectors. Some phones I bet support that. Vicente's phone, I bet would support that. Vicente.
My phone does, but it doesn't, it didn't like the hub.
Oh,
I can do a single device off of it, but it didn't like the hub, so. See, I think that hub needs a little bit of power to actually make it actually do something. That's why it didn't like my computer. It works on his, it doesn't work on mine.
Yeah.
it worked. Yeah, it worked. Yeah, and the reason that it's unplugged, my battery went dead. Yeah. My battery was dead, so I had to take it out.
Here's more ham radio kind of stuff.
Okay, what's that?
Power poles. Specifically, I don't know what they call that connector.
Oh, it's it's a power, and a power cable. Fused power cable.
Yeah, but the connector probably has some sort of special name for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, ham.
Yeah, it's a pretty typical connector on mobile AM radios.
Oh, okay.
So everybody needs.
Oh, yeah, there's a good power cable.
Yeah.
If you had the other end of that connector, I would be ready. Oh, is that the other end of that connector?
No,
Is that?
no, they're the same cable. It's just
Oh, okay.
different. It's the same but different.
I want a breakaway cable for the charger on my old car. Slide connector.
Oh, that's, you had something in your car, or CB or something for that. Yeah.
Ham radio. Yeah. CBs usually use a different, like a 3 or 4 prong Molex kind of connector. I don't know what they call this. It's a T, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that one.
like a T, yeah. But the wire itself's good. I mean, you could lop the connector off and use the wire.
I need the mate for that connector and I would be in business. I don't want the latch, I'll take the latch off of it. But what I do is I have my car that I charge. And I gotta remember to disconnect it when I drive the car off. I leave it on the charger. I turn the charger on every Sunday for 30 minutes
On your car.
on my car that I keep in storage.
On the car he doesn't drive, but needs to sell probably.
Trickle charge.
You need, yeah, but I've got a triple charger on it that's superb and superior, but it has a fan in it. And if I leave it on 24 hours a day for 10 years, that fan's gonna go bad. So I only turn it on once a week. And the battery, you have to keep it charged because it will discharge your battery. It's got one of those safety alarm features in it that draws power.
Yeah,
Just a little bit,
yeah.
but just enough to mess you up. Oh, this is really nice for hams. A ham would love both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That came from the same auction that frequency counter came from. Ah, Vicente, please take stuff. Take stuff. Come on. No, I'm not
I
crazy.
need to do the same.
I'm not that crazy.
See, so when you go to throw,
Hey there.
since your wife that you're okay, I threw all this stuff away. And just bring in the bag from Leroy and say, I'm throwing all this away.
I'm throwing all this away.
Cisco router.
I know, I just bought one of those.
Probably not that particular model.
Can sell this in eBay.
It's got a couple of years.
No, maybe in a box. Everything for something.
Everything for $1.
The routers that if you're gonna get one, make sure it has the, what is it, flow? The flow controller, where it'll stream AC. It's AC is the latest one.
The router,
Yeah, what is it?
Wi-Fi 8, Wi-Fi, whatever they call it now.
What is the number for the Wi-Fi? 811,
802.11.
802.11 AC was the last.
Oh, yeah.
AC has the streaming.
Wow, this is new. Paradox.
Some of the stuff just,
This was before the Arduino.
no, that's got the Arduino in it.
Yes, it's the Arduino shield. Well,
Yeah,
continue servo.
you know how stuff just gathers up and sits around forever? Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to tell by Sunday how stuff just gathers up.
But I have boxes of kits that I never made. Only.
I don't know if it'll actually do anything. This guy.
Sensors on them.
Got lights.
Use that remote that you've got, drive it around.
Well, that's some pretty heavy duty gearing.
Yeah. That was not a cheap robot, but it's a robot that have never played with.
There are some designs that you hate or you don't know why. Something.
Yeah, I mean, when I bought that, I thought it would be cool, and I got it, and I'm like, it's a box. Ugh. So it's set on a shelf. I mean, it looks neat on a shelf.
Well, I found a movie on Flix, the new network I found this week. It's called Flix. And it's got thousands of movies, and I found a movie on there, and it's about the armies. They had 4,000 soldiers outside a city. And they were going to attack the city. These were Russians, and they were going to attack the city. And the city had 400 soldiers from this country. And that's all they had to protect the city. You know what the name of the city was? Kiev. Does that sound familiar? You know what? This is a story about historically correct story. Do you know what year that was? Can you guess what year that was? 1918.
No.
Yes.
I wasn't going to go back quite that far. I would have said like 40. But
And it was the Russians were staging to take over Kiev. And they had already taken over Odessa. Does Odessa sound familiar?
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah. Odessa
not the
is-
one in Texas either.
It's a port city in,
Yeah, where the grains are loaded in ships, export or something.
I don't know, probably so. Yeah. But it's one of their port cities on the Black Sea. It is a big port city. Yeah. Big deal.
that
So
is,
this was after the revolution?
This is in 1918.
So it's after the revolution.
Okay. The Russians were planning to take over Kiev. In 1918, they were making plans, and they were showing some of the espionage and disinformation that was being traded to each other. And the Germans had helped the Ukrainians, as I understand it. This is, but World War II, end of World War II, 1918 was the end, was that after World War I? I mean,
Whoa, whoa.
After World War One, yeah,
1918 was the war over in 18.
yes.
And that's about the end of it. So it's toward the end of World War One. So this story that we're hearing is not new.
So what is the name of the movie?
I would have to go look it up, but you can load Flix, and you can go to the history folder. They've got a bunch of folders. They've got hundreds of movies, and I've never heard of the movie. And I said, there's this movie about them Russians attacking Kiev. I said, dang, that sounds familiar. And it said 1918. I went, dang, that's amazing.
Is that FLICK?
FLIX, I think.
When they formed the Soviet Union, wasn't that all?
It was after the revolution, because they were talking about Stalin. And
Oh, yeah.
that's really, was Stalin around in 1918?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they're talking about Stalin. They were.
FIX gives me Flixbus.
Well, let's.
That's wrong.
Huh. It may be, you may have to get inside of Roku to find it. Maybe it is FLICKS, I don't know,
did that one
but I
not
thought
come
it
on?
was FLIX, but it was,
It was on.
That one's got a cute little cat face.
Oh, here it is. It was on.
His battery may not be charged very well.
That's all it's on.
It's got a cute little cat face.
Oh, there. There's something going.
Who's Julie Sullivan?
That's the sign up for my wife.
Oh, I see.
And your video is very strange, Julie Sullivan.
As a matter of fact, I only see black and gray.
Oh, there it
Oh,
is.
there we go.
Is that better?
There we
Yep.
go.
You attach the camera.
Ah,
Well, Hi Vincente, congratulations if somebody hasn't said that.
Yeah. Done.
So when was it official?
Excuse me. How was?
When?
When? 2 hours ago.
Okay.
your
What's
signature on
official?
the Estados
Yeah,
Unidos?
yeah.
Ah, Tuner Schnitzel.
Thank you.
Do what?
Okay. I
Now,
would have been here earlier, but the wind blew me up into Dayton.
Oh, the
Looks
web
like Dayton.
Dayton,
Yeah, it's really windy up.
what the stuff Leroy brings for you?
yeah, you're missing all the freebies. Come down and get freebies.
Wow. Well, I'm trying to give away something also.
We're shocked.
We have the same problem.
It's
Everybody wants to get a raise.
A1311 iMac with a half a gig of storage and I believe
For
4 megabytes of memory. And I was looking online and they said a good use for that is for loading it as a Linux machine.
Yeah, I
Yep.
was thinking the same thing.
I don't like the iMac operating system and I've played around with it. The only thing that is particularly nice is the visual display is stunning. It has a wonderful resolution.
Yeah.
Now, all of those things, Vincente, are very tempting.
Yeah.
But
$1 each.
Oh, free to a good home.
He gives you $1.
they would be orphans here.
I'll give you $1 to take the stuff away.
So again,
Oh, it works, that's right.
anybody interested in an A1311 iMac?
How much RAM did you say it had?
I believe 4.
For what?
4
It's-
gigabytes.
Ah,
Megabytes.
okay.
It's got-
Megabyte, gigabyte.
The hard drive is a half a terabyte hard drive and it's virtually empty.
It's from 2011.
Yes, that's correct.
It's not exactly what you would call the latest and greatest Apple device, but it's still very useful as a Linux machine.
It's a nice machine. It for being a dual core, it does zip along.
Yeah,
Julie, whose name came up earlier, brought it home and she said, "This monitor is really heavy." And I said, "Babe, that's not a monitor. That's the whole machine." It has an optical drive and a card reader and 4 USB ports and a couple of high-speed ports that I don't have anything that matches up with them.
Firewire, maybe.
Firewire, maybe.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
had the
probably.
fire, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one was a turbo of some sort.
Did you decide what you wanted for it?
If anybody there wants it, you may have it for nothing.
You're making me really consider this because I know it will run Linux really well.
That's
It's a-
true.
It's a beautiful display.
What's the CPU on that?
Raspberry Pi.
It's an Intel. And I don't remember the specs. I couldn't even do a simple screen capture to show what the particulars of it were.
does it have a CD drive or a DVD drive?
Yeah, right here on the side, there's an optical drive built into the edge as well as a card reader.
Oh, so you can boot it from a live CD then.
I'm
There's,
sorry, Art, I didn't hear you.
You should be able to boot it from a live CD depending upon the BIOS.
Well, it'll boot all right. It's fine, but I looked and there were a couple of things that I didn't realize. You can put a dual operating system on there and run Windows on it, or you can wipe the operating systems and make it a Linux machine totally.
Sure. Well, you got enough. If you've got a half a T there,
all
you
three
could
of
put 4 or 5 operating systems on it without any sweat.
The machine that I'm using now, I have a virtual machine running on it so that I can run my old Microsoft Office from 2003.
that's an ARM.
And that's all really the only operating system I need is current Windows and Windows 7. I would like to have kept that for some purpose, but I have too many machines already.
What's the screen size?
Let me get a tape measure and I'll tell you.
It's really tempting. I've got too much stuff. I got to get rid of stuff. It's really tempting now. Do I?
Diagonal's 25 inches.
Oh, that's a nice screen.
Think same.
Yeah, the specs say it will support 1 million different colors, and the resolution is quite good. I mean, in terms of visually, I don't know that it's a retinal display, so to speak, but it's quite good.
Level comparative. 2.3 volts.
Yeah. Do you have to check with Patty about bringing this home?
I got too much stuff. I mean, you're making it really tempting. I can't do it. I can't.
Well, it's a beautiful display.
So
And
Leroy,
it's calling your name.
Leroy, you go to a show to get rid of stuff and you come back with more than you have.
That's why I can't go to the Ham Fest, because
I like the wheels.
I can't go to the Ham Fest because I bring stuff home. I try to get rid of stuff, but I bring stuff home. If you haven't found anybody by next week, let me see how hard it would be to get a Linux on it and whatever. And if you haven't found anybody by next week, I'll take it.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
What are you looking for? A laptop?
No. It's another computer that I don't need, but
What is it? It's a desktop?
yeah. It's going to be really nice running Linux. But let me see how. I know Mac, sometimes they lock it's not really a BIOS, but they lock it down and they make it a little hard to install some of that stuff. So
Okay.
Can you open the box?
You're
The
right.
way that opens is really peculiar. You get your fingers behind the glass and pull the glass away. And
Okay.
then there are 4 screws that hold the
Point down.
actual display. And those come loose. And that gets you into
I thought that came from MCM, like
This is
all this other stuff. I'm trying to push all this stuff to him.
Well, you can probably change the BIOS.
Want the wheels of this one. The wheels.
The BIOS may be removable.
Could very well be. I have done a little bit of looking,
These wheels are.
and there are a number of YouTube videos about how to do these things, but I haven't watched them because I haven't had the immediate need to follow any of them.
Because if it's got a removable BIOS chip, then it's easy enough to swap the chip out and put the new one in. If it's soldered into the board, then you're out of luck. But if it's got a removable BIOS chip, you know, you just pop it out and pop a new one in.
Macs don't really call it BIOS. It's not really a BIOS.
Well, it's an x86 CPU, so
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
they can call it whatever they want to.
It boots into, you've got to hold the command key and a couple other keys, and it'll boot into something that looks like a shell.
Okay.
It's not really, it's not BIOS as we would think of BIOS in the IBM world. So it's more kind of like BusyBox when you boot into
Oh,
BusyBox kind of thing. But I know they make some Linux distros for Macs. I just don't know how hard it is to actually get it to work. I know the couple of Macs that I've had, it was a pain in the butt to get Linux to install. And then once I actually got it to install, it was even worse to make it actually do something. So
Well, there apparently there's still some value in them because people are selling them on Craigslist and eBay.
yeah.
I was really surprised. One with a cracked screen, they were wanting $75 for, and I thought that was kind of outrageous.
They're nice machines, but let me do some research and see. And if my research turns out, and if you've still got it, I will take it.
Okay, well, unless someone has a burning desire for it, you know, because there's Mac people out there that don't think anything else exists in the world. If I run across one of them, I'll go ahead and give it to them, but otherwise, consider it yours.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully it's one of the easier ones to get Linux installed on, but I will find out. Vicente, he's touched that so many times. You touch that one more time, mister, and it's yours.
No, but I
Yep.
don't, the tracks are very, are not soft, no.
Yeah, I know.
It's really bad trying to move this in the surface.
I know. It looks
To glue maybe some lines of something sticky,
it looks cool,
yeah,
but in practical
Yeah.
terms, it sits on a shelf. I mean, it's that it originally was programmed using some sort of Scratch language, but it's got a Atmega 328 in it. So I programmed it with the Arduino. I mean, it programs just fine.
I'm thinking maybe some erasers or something, glue all around. So
are those tracks?
Yes, sort of. It's more like hard plastic track.
yeah, it's too hard, it's very slippery.
It slides even more than more than you would want it to.
Maybe there is some paint with rubber paint or something.
And I can use that somebody wants it.
She's trying to get rid of stuff too. Everybody's trying to get rid of stuff.
I don't have a scope myself.
You want it?
No, I don't need a scope.
Okay.
It's a tube scope.
He,
Anybody want a tube scope?
he has access to people that have digital scopes. He probably doesn't need a tube scope.
I had one I would use. It's very tempting, but it's a tube scope, guys.
It's working.
That
It's free, it's out there in the car.
it needs to go into a museum.
Yeah. Whatever.
The Tektronix. I don't need it. I don't. Oh, wow. That is an old one. Wow.
It's out there for the taking.
No,
So it's Tektronix?
no, it's even older than that. It's got a round face. Might be fun to play with the round face, but
Yeah.
no.
It's a Type 316, oscilloscope, whatever. It's pretty antique looking.
Yeah, that is I'm perfectly happy with my digital oscilloscope that I bought 3 years ago and still in the box. I don't
Works real well, right?
do what?
It works real well, right?
I think it was a $300 scope that they finally discounted down to $99, and I said, okay, that's a deal.
This one we probably-
I need this too for a week.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty loud, so that's-
I will have them for a week
Okay.
and then I will decide.
No take backs, no take
One
backs.
way.
No
One way.
returns.
Yeah, one way. Yeah, okay.
Those are both Uno based, basically, so they should be easy enough to program.
I want to see these tracks working.
He's just curious about the tracks.
Maybe there is some mat with a sticker or something. Rubber mat that I can cut just with a laser a lot of tiny rectangles and glue all of them around.
That's good hardware there.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very close, you know, it's soldered.
It,
You cannot open
I actually tried to take that apart a couple of
it.
times.
They solder all the parts.
Huh,
together.
how about that?
Yeah, I tried to take it apart a couple of times because I thought the gear mechanism was worth more than the robot
So if
itself.
I were selling them kids, mine would be soldered up like that. Yeah, you don't want to take the dang thing apart and, it doesn't work. Oh, really?
I had some test files and stuff for that one that I wrote some test programs, but I can't find them.
I actually don't know where they are.
I'll try to find them.
Something Japanese or something.
Yeah, I tried to find them and I couldn't find them, so. If I find them, I'll mail them to you. But on the back, little tiny,
Yeah, booster.
oh, it's this one. It's got the pin out. That little one's got the pin out. I will try to find the pin out for that one now, because I had it. I had figured out all kinds of stuff about it. But I think the only thing I couldn't get working on that,
Just realized that they are trying to mimic Wally.
Wally, yeah. I think the only thing I couldn't get working on it was the ultrasonic sensor though.
It does look like Wally.
A little bit. Uh-oh. Oh,
And it's turned on. It is.
What's going on?
Oh,
Who's sharing the screen?
screen there in a minute, maybe. You're showing a screen. I don't see the screen. No, that's not working. Oh, there it is. That's a Roku. It's a Roku app, Art. And you can go into Roku and say, see free apps. And run the Roku menu. And it'll show free apps. And that Flick should be it. That should be it. Now,
So Flix is not a website, it's inside Roku, okay.
right.
Don't break it, Vicente.
Yeah, you break it, you own it.
He owns it anyway, isn't he?
Okay, here we go.
It says, do you need DVDs or CDs?
I bought some 2 weeks ago
Really?
on Amazon. Yeah.
Well, you need more. They don't go bad. It's not like they go bad.
Jewel cases, you got jewel cases
Yeah.
here.
Can make wheels then rolls.
I know somewhere in the pile of stuff that I've got it's either a stack of 50 or a stack of 100. I don't need them. I don't need
So
them.
those are CDs or DVDs?
I think the stack I've got at home is DVDs. I can't imagine why I would keep CDs around.
Beduino.
I hesitate to ask, but from my vantage point, behind Vincente is a box that appears to be green.
Okay,
What is that? No,
This-
the other way. Other
this-
way. Yeah.
that is it was a kit. It's called a Piper kit. It had a Raspberry Pi 3 in it, a 7-inch display screen, and like a wood suitcase thing that you built, and it was geared towards.
I saw it in the maker space in
Yeah,
Cincinnati maker fair.
it was built for kids to do experiments. Well, I got that from Micro Center. They were closing it out for a whopping $10. I took the display.
Mike, you ask, is yours. Sorry.
Yeah, I kept the display and I kept the Raspberry Pi. Everything else is in there though. It probably just needs to be file 13,
And
but
and the keyboard also.
do I?
You keep the keyboard,
It didn't come with a keyboard.
so
No,
it's touch or something.
that was for the display. It was a 7-inch display.
So
Is it a touch screen?
No, the way they decided to do their stuff was all mouse based. So there's a little teeny tiny mouse.
Oh, yeah.
So their software, when you boot up their software, it boots into a screen that's set up for mice, and you click the mouse and it'll tell you to plug something in or do something that so you could experiment. I might have kept the breadboards, or I think it came with some breadboards. I might have kept those. But well, for $10, it was worth the Raspberry Pi 3 and the display. Everything else was just extra. But actually, the case that they made for it isn't bad. It's not a bad case. It's just not something I need,
This phone also? No, this is mine.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Sold.
Yeah.
This is Android tablet.
And old one. Android 4.
Wow,
Will that plug into your phone? If so, what could you do with it?
yeah.
Android 4.
I saw that.
Android 4.
Is that the one?
Android 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I booted that up. It's still got, no, this one.
That's
How
the
do you turn
book.
it off?
It's off.
This
I
is a
powered it
Kindle?
off, but it's. still
No,
got a
it's-
display.
It looks like an old Kindle, but it's just a. It's called, I think that one, is that one the iRiver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what
Google
operating system
said you
is.
can log in with your.
Proprietary.
You can't anymore. That particular feature went away a long time ago. But you can still put, you know, you plug it in and tell it to go into USB mode and you can still drop books into it and read them. So it's still,
You need this Pi, the Raspberry Pi.
do you need it?
This is 4
No,
Before, yeah.
to 1.
that's the original.
Now, this is Cloud TV I've been telling you guys about. It has all kind of news, Salem News, which I don't normally watch, Daily Wire, France 24. That's English version, and the second France 24 is the French version if you speak French. Ticker News, if you like to watch the ticker. And Weon, that's Indian, that's the Indian news channel. It's English, it's British-like. And Euronews is the other one. Euronews and French 24 English are pretty well balanced for European news stations. And they also have Nature Channel. But this is also, Cloud TV is also available on the internet as cloudtv.com. And it's free, although there are some things you can buy additional, 70 channels, I think, for the basic.
I had a link to a website that has, it's like a Google Earth, but with all the radio stations. So you can go and zoom in any station and hear it.
Well, we
live.
showed that here a few
Yeah.
weeks ago. Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
And yet,
it's
in fact, I listened to 1200 up in WHIO, and I mean, it's immediate, bam.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It also has Kiev, if you want to listen to the Kiev radio station in Kiev, you can, well, there are multiple of them there you can listen to. Now I gotta figure out how to close this.
You're supposed to take this stuff, not give it back.
I think you should make a rule where if somebody touches something 3 times, they own it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be the rule. If you touch it 3 times, it's yours.
yeah.
Well, super glue will do the same thing.
Come back around and you touch. Yeah.
Just
You need a tester, cable tester.
Or power supply tester.
throw away all the Ethernet cable in my house.
There.
A huge dumpster of cables.
Ah,
They're still useful, but yeah, I don't have very many RJ45 cables anymore either.
When I was working, I still had one. I think it was actually reverse polarity. But it wasn't connected very good. I kept breaking the thing off, but I couldn't part with it, so I had to get me a tester. Made sure I was crimping it correctly.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day when we had the shop, that was. This thing was a lifesaver because
Oh,
we
yeah.
were building cables and. Yep. Yep. Nope. Snip.
you got that Pepsi bag, you can give it to Mark to carry his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I put that in the bag too.
Put that in there.
Yeah. Put that in
This
the
one-
bag
this one's
with
been
it.
in my pocket, I don't need a bag.
No, well, you can't just, if you got a bag, you can't just put one thing in it.
Oh, see, he claimed this stuff too. He just,
Oh, I gotta take this too.
yeah, you already did. There's no taking it back.
Yeah.
He likes this
No,
one.
no, you're the robot man.
He likes it. The same.
It's the kitty bot. Come on. Omnibot. I think
Got lots of pretty lights and got a face, eyeballs and eyebrows.
Well, I had an experience last week that you may all be familiar with, but it was the first time it happened to me. I had an uninterruptible power supply and surge protector, and the capacitor in there cooked itself, flaked itself apart, blew it out, and took out 3 X10 units and a router.
Wow.
nice.
And it's like that, I hate to go back and spend money to replace them because it's what, 30-year-old technology?
Yeah. We have a router right here.
I replaced it already, but
Oh,
it was free. I didn't spend money on it.
oh, we would never have the sacrilege in this group, yeah. Spend money, except for robots.
Yeah, gotta spend money on robots.
I've got a smiley face on the front. How could you pass that up?
It's calling your name. This. The M-bots came out and, they were fairly expensive. So of course, the Chinese cloned a Chinese company and came out with stuff like this. It's basically an M-bot that the ports are set up a little bit different.
Yeah, and the board is the same.
It's very similar. It's a very similar. I think when I actually was programming this, I think I had to use a couple of the MBOT libraries to make it work.
Is I2C connectors?
Now you have to look up what the colors mean.
Okay, like the rope connector, different
Yeah,
combination.
yeah. I think they are more like a Lego style connector thingy, but yeah, I think like some of these sensors are I2C and I just know that I had a problem, I think, with that one getting the ultrasonic to work, and it's an I2C ultrasonic. I couldn't figure out what the right protocol was to get it to actually talk to them. But I think, when I ran the I2C test program, it identified like 4 or 5 different things that were I2C in there. Did we lose Art? Looks like we lost Art.
We got a picture of him.
Oh,
He's got no microphone.
he's got no video.
Oh,
He must be doing something important. Are you sure I can't interest anybody in this old Fluke? It's a good multimeter that I haven't used in a long time.
I've traded in this telescope.
Hold it up there again. Let me look at it.
The fluke.
Looks like a really nice machine.
It is,
It is. Yes,
Is it a 4.5 digit one?
it's a 6060A. I don't know. I don't know what that is. It's missing its battery cover. That's really the only thing it's missing.
Oh my, you're trying to pawn off at something that doesn't have a battery cover.
I know.
Well, I'll make a contingency deal with you. You're going to take the A1311. I'll take the fluke.
Okay.
Deal here, sign in blood. It's gone.
I didn't quite hear that.
It was a commitment. You don't need to hear it. It's a formal commitment.
Yeah, you know, even if the fluke doesn't work anymore, the leads are probably
Yeah,
worth.
yeah, the leads are worth that.
The leads are worth the
Good
price
set
of
of
the
leads.
emission.
Man, yeah, good set of leads worth big bucks.
No, I put this fluke up because Harbor Freight kept giving me free multimeters, and when the battery died in the fluke, I took the battery out and put it in a box, and that's where it went. This fluke was great for years and years and years.
That's, looks like some sort of display. OLED display, no?
You pass that stuff down here, I'll start putting this stuff away that people aren't going there.
Oh, the electrical test was for me.
Hey
Don't
Gail,
need batteries, don't need anything, just plug it in, it's got LED lights in it.
you ever played that
Yeah.
game?
I don't think so.
You and Jim should play that game.
What is it?
It's it's like a racing card racing kind of game. I tried to explain it. I don't think I explained it very well.
Kind of like if it matches or something, you flip it down or something.
Yeah.
Neon,
Oh, that's Millboard. Oh yeah, that's a classic road game.
Yeah. So you get road hazards like the flat tire,
Hmm.
and you have to
Uh,
add on
and
your
there's
opponent.
something where you can go Coufferet.
You play the road hazard on your opponent, and as long as your opponent has the fixed flat,
Oh, okay.
they can continue to move.
So it's like the road version of some of those Pokemon and Magic and.
It's older than that, but
That's what I
yeah,
mean, it's an older.
yeah. Kinda. It's probably not quite as sophisticated as
No, but I
Pokemon.
can
and-
see idea where you have the
Yeah,
power and the.
it's a fun game. You want it?
Yeah.
Woohoo! More stuff going away.
When you said you can donate those other robots.
Yeah.
They won't go to waste.
The ham radio guys are already talking about Hamvention. And that's when they do their fundraising, so. I'll just donate a bunch of stuff to them and. Let the club, let that club fundraise and. Make money, and I'll clean out my stuff. It'll go, yeah.
I think one of them is like that scope. Maybe.
Maybe.
Hamilton would be a good place to dump that scope. Anybody would buy it, probably would.
Well, yeah.
Or $5.
$5, yeah.
Somebody doesn't have a scope, hey,
I don't know, I haven't been to a Hamvention in a while, but the last one I went to, people had gotten pretty picky about some of the stuff they were buying.
Probably don't know what it is. Younger kids today, it's all digital.
It's all digital. What do you mean it's analog?
You can buy a single sideband for $100. Jeez. That's, you can, QRP. 3 to 5 watt. Single sideband.
Yeah, this stuff won't. It won't go to waste. It'll go to a good cause. And by the time that happens, I will have more stuff.
You're taking more than you believe.
My outdoor storage at the apartment has. I can't even open the door anymore. If I open the door, stuff just falls out on top of me.
Then it helps you pick stuff out, doesn't it? The stuff that falls out goes in the box. Bring it to the club next thing. Yeah.
Is there people that
So what's this outside storage?
It's basically it's a small walk-in closet that is out. It's out on the back porch of the apartment, and it's became a catch-all for everything that doesn't quite have a spot inside the house. And it's so full that I don't even like opening the door. I don't even like thinking about what's out there.
This is environmentally controlled?
Oh, no, of course not. No, this is exposed to every possible
Controlled
thing.
by the environment.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess if it's controlled by the environment, it's environmentally controlled.
Okay.
It's exposed to every actually, I opened the door it was probably right before winter, and I found birdseed in there. I don't really know how birdseed got in there. I'm guessing birds. Squirrels. I find it interesting. We're on the second floor, so I would find it very interesting for mice and squirrels, but birds, I could see a bird getting up there. I'm not sure how a mouse or a squirrel would get up there. Unless it came from the top down, maybe.
You have a bird feeder on, it sucks onto the window. I usually keep it with birdseed. I noticed there was a walnut in there the other day. This squirrel jumped up on a light, and he thought that would be a good place to hide it for the winter, I guess.
Well,
In 1972, a friend of mine was hired to clean out a woman's apartment. She had been a vaudeville star and a recording star. She had 78 RPMs that were recorded only on one side, and it was her voice. And she had been a Flo Ziegfeld associate. And her husband had passed maybe 30 years before then, and she had become a recluse. In the apartment she was in at the time she moved in Kansas City was just top flight, the creme de la creme, huge rooms, wonderful district. And she gradually closed down to where she saved everything. She would take all of her tin cans and double wrap them in plastic bags and tie them off and saved them. And all the newspapers, it was like an archaeological dig. He had been working on it for a week and called up and said, I need help, come help. And so my wife and I at the time went over, and she had piled half of her bed to the ceiling and could only move through the apartment sideways because everything was piled up with just a path wide enough for her body. She was a very petite woman, so that wasn't a very big area. My friend couldn't get through to most of the rooms. He was a little bit more portly than me. And what had happened is she had fallen and broken her hip. And the neighbors hadn't seen her and got the landlord to come in and open up with a key, contacted her niece, and her niece came in and looked around and said, "Oh, she's out of here." And so my friend was hired to go through the apartment and find anything of value and turn it over to her niece. And we spent probably 2 weeks going through, and you could see where every week as entertainment, she would go to the Salvation Army and buy something, come home, and there's the bag that it had been in, the object that she had bought, and the receipt. They were never used. She never had any real use for them. But it was interesting to go back and look at the paperwork, the invitation from Flo Ziegfeld, and going back, her husband's clothes were still in the closet. It was an amazing experience that I felt sorry for the woman. And it was interesting to watch how her life had changed over time. Not something I'd want to repeat, but it was kind of neat.
Sounds like some of the shows I see now, they have these hoarder shows that where people some of them are pretty disgusting, but some of them are pretty amazing.
There were no insects, no rodents, nothing like that. This apartment was very clean, very pristine, because she had very carefully taken everything and wrapped it. Well, Leroy was talking about not wanting to open the door. She had opened the door and put stuff over the top of it and dropped it in until the room was so full you couldn't open the door to it. The door opened in and it was impossible to even get into the room because everything had settled down.
Yeah.
The door was locked. I forget, I think we had to bend a coat hanger and reach in and start dragging stuff out through the little crack between the door and the jamb just in order to get the door open. The going back and looking at that time, the paper in Kansas City had a morning and an evening edition. And looking at the newspapers for 40 years, it's just incredible. Leroy, I don't see your storage area in the back ever getting to that point.
No, my wife, she watches that Porter show. And she said, you've got a lot of stuff, but at least it's all organized and you know where stuff's at. You don't. And I said, well, yeah, just don't open the shed up and we'll be fine. So the house itself is clean. I just don't want to open the shed. Yeah. Patty's watched a lot of those shows, and sometimes they have that like people like that are perfectly sane and reasonable people and have something tragic has happened and it's just set them into a shopping spree. And
a friend of mine went down to Bolivia as a representative for the RLDS church, and this was 20 years ago. And shortly after he got down there, the church called up and said, "Oh, we don't have any money, you're on your own." But the story he was telling me was the first time they had put out the trash there in Bolivia, there was a knock on the door, and trash man was holding 2 tin cans between his thumb and index finger, and it said, "Not trash." And I just think of how lucky we are in this country that we throw away tremendous amount of stuff. And to them, 2 tin cans have value.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day too. How much stuff costs that we just throw away. I mean, paper towels and paper plates and
Well, it's like packaging materials.
exactly.
A lot of the stuff that I get, which I have a heck of a time getting open, frankly, comes in a plastic device that must have cost 10% of the product price to just
Throw it away.
build the packaging. And then, of course, there's these plastic things that you can cut a finger off trying to pry the thing open to get at the product.
Yeah. And we spend good money for that.
Yep, somebody pays for it, and it's usually the person who buys it, I suppose.
Well, it is interesting that we end up with plastics whose lifetime usefulness is measured in seconds. You go to the grocery and you put carrots in a bag, you check it out, you bring it home, take it out of the bag, and what do you do with the bag?
Yep.
Anyway, I digress. I'd like to think that my life has a little more usefulness than that plastic bag, but I'm not sure in the grand scheme of things that it really does.
So Mr. Jim,
No,
what's the plans for next meeting? Because it's
next meeting is March. Yeah. Let's see.
with March.
I don't think so.
Today's only the 9th. I don't think we're already in
Well,
March.
we're virtual for the next 2 weeks.
We're virtual next 2 weeks.
Okay.
And we lost. Okay.
We have been ejected from the library.
Or if you look at the schedule, it's in March. I think it's not the second. Let's see what it is. Okay. And this and it's in the Grand Poobah's agenda at the bottom. I've got the list as accepted, what we've been accepted for. March 2nd and 9th will be the live meetings next month. Looks like April may not be the first two weeks. Looked like somebody already got some stuff going. So it may be a different week, but by the 9th, hopefully I'll know when the next one is.
So have we used the last live meeting for this month?
Yes.
Yeah.
We had 2 meetings. We had February 2nd and February 9th. And it'll be March 2nd and March 9th. That'll be our 2 live meetings. And then in April, we'll advise you. But if you look at you can go to the meeting announcement and go to Grand Poobah's agenda. And at the bottom, it shows you, let me show you what it looks like. If my insanity doesn't bother me. Too bad. And as you know, it's been bothering me lately. That's what the bottom of, that's what the agenda looks like. And the very first one is March 2nd and 9th, the live meeting. Technology news of the week. There was a new battery announcement this week, aluminum and salt. I think is it argon or somebody that were developing that. Aluminum and salt, quick charge. That's right, but it's nothing created yet, as Art would attest, it's theoretical. But long term, aluminum and salt they claim to have the components had none of the components were more than 5 of the most common minerals found, elements found. Oh, Tesla funded research reveals one of the biggest mysteries of the EV battery. EV batteries sometimes will discharge themselves, and they've determined what the cause was. And it was the tape that they taped the cells together with was creating a molecule that would facilitate a discharge. So sometimes these lithium-ion cars would discharge themselves for no reason, and it was caused by a molecule developed, created by the tape that they used to tape the cells together with. So, okay.
Interesting.
You know, when they spontaneously combust.
Yeah, probably will.
I played around with the MicroPython, Arduino MicroPython IDE a little bit. It's interesting, but I think there's better MicroPython IDEs.
I didn't try it yet. I need to change my operating system. Almost nothing is working now in 27.
Yeah, it's about time you're gonna have to bite the bullet.
I have Windows 11 in the big laptop, Windows 10 in the middle size, and in my desktop, Windows 7.
You just
Everything
need
stopped working.
He's holding on.
Linux, put Linux on a machine.
My son put Linux in the Windows 11, Windows 11. There is an icon, Ubuntu. You press Ubuntu and you are in Linux. In the same machine. Windows, you can choose operating system. But
They're not gonna beat you, they're gonna join you and take you over from the inside.
I need to go to the meetings of Steve meetings.
Yeah.
Don't bring that up.
Still kicking and screaming on that, huh?
What?
Damn it,
Oh, me? No, I don't care. I hate all of them.
you hate them all
All
equally.
equally, yeah.
I
Linux, I hate Linux, I hate Windows, I hate, you name one, I hate it.
I
Yeah,
use
Apple.
that icon you're talking about quite frequently to talk to the Raspberry Pis from my desktop.
Oh.
Yeah. It's very functional.
They're trying to make it very functional. Oh, yeah, they're working hard.
I just cut out the middleman and just use Linux straight up.
Well, I used to do that, but then the killer for me was the TurboTax. When I was using that, I switched over to H&R Block until when I was first using the Linux box, they didn't have they hadn't imported into the Linux. So
See, Linux has gotta have a Windows tab in.
They do.
they did,
Oh, okay.
You
And
can,
you
you can run some Linux or Windows software.
yeah.
Oh, you can run H&R Block off the internet, can't you? You can run it
The
online.
free version of it.
Yeah, H&R Block is
Web-based.
web-based.
Yeah, but you gotta put all this stuff out there on the cloud. Do that.
Yeah. You can run, you could try to run it in Wine. Wine's gotten better. But yeah. It still doesn't run everything, and sometimes it doesn't run it right. It's a little.
Yeah.
funky.
So,
I was watching a guy on YouTube though the other day. He was messing around with OS2 Warp variant that apparently is still in production. Who knew? Who knew OS2 Warp was still around? And I went to the website to find out about OS2 Warp because I used to really like OS2. And it was $350 just for the basic thing. And I'm like, okay, this is why nobody knows about OS2 Warp anymore.
IBM has Red Hat.
I forget what
They were humping Red Hat on a commercial for IBM the other day.
hmm,
Well, they own Red Hat now.
Yep.
Yeah, I forget what it's not OS2 Warp anymore, but it's a licensed version of OS2 Warp. It's based on the last version of OS2 Warp, and I forget what they called it, but it was $350 just for the base version, and I'm like, why? What? Why?
Ask them about DB2. You know what DB2 is?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, DB2 is still around. DB2 is the IBM database from day one, 100 years ago. It's still around. It's still in use.
Yeah.
And still useful. Supposedly.
We could
But
name
OS2,
some.
I don't know.
We could name some obscure OSs like DeskView. You remember DeskView? It was a DOS overlay. It was a multitasker for DOS. It was pretty awesome. Running on an 8088, you could do all kinds of multitasking. But it didn't go much past the 8088, I don't think. Oh. So when Jim says he hates them all, he probably does.
I do. It's obvious.
Jim just puts up with computers because he has to.
That's right. Yeah, I'm in for the application. What can you do with it? And how easy is it to use? Okay. Does it work? I'm gonna have to rewrite everything in 2 years.
So has anybody ever gotten Darwin running?
No.
I've tried a number of times, but never managed to get it going.
Yep. I haven't tried Darwin in a long time. The one time I remember trying it, I think it booted up and it sat there and the stupid hourglass thing just sat there and spun. And that was it. Yep.
Yep.
That's all it did.
Well,
That
it
was-
got past the post.
It did get past post, but it didn't get, I never got to a desktop. It that was supposed to be what? The Mac
That
OS
was
coming
that
to-
was the free version. That was the open source version of Mac OS.
Yeah.
After they converted to an 8086 CPU.
Yeah, to the Intels. Yeah. I think I even tried Darwin on a Mac and it did work on a Mac.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I know. But I think at the time I had an old Mac that OS X it didn't support OS X, and I was like, oh, maybe it'll do, maybe Darwin will work on it. I think it booted up. I think that was probably the machine that it just sat there and spun. The hourglass just sat there and. That might be a good OS to see if it will work on that newer Mac. It might actually work on that new Mac.
You can still download it. It's still available.
Is it still being developed?
No, I think that was the problem. Basically, it was supported by 3 guys and his dog. Okay. I mean, nobody was supporting it.
Okay. Well, that's abandoned OSs are never a great place to start anyway.
No.
Did you ever try BEOS? BEOS?
I did not.
Okay. I tried that. That worked for a little bit. I tried Plan 9. You ever tried Plan 9 OS?
No, I have not.
It is as bad as it sounds.
Okay.
You know, Plan 9 from outer space?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Jim's giving me the 1 minute sign. So I think it's time to go.
Okay, guys, take care.
Well, next,
See you virtually next week.
Yep, sounds good.
Take care now.
Bring
Bye.
virtual stuff next time.